We're in Robin Kessler's business communication class, and we're going to be presenting on the recent Facebook scandal. My name is Tori Querin.
I'm Stephen Burton.
My name is Emma Metcalf.
I'm Jasmine Correa.
And my name is Avery Seal.
The purpose of our presentation is to discuss the recent Facebook scandal and how it has affected Facebook's business as a whole. We will discuss Facebook's business ethical standards, how it has affected the current stock and business outlook for the future, as well as communication failures they experienced while dealing with the public. This scandal started in 2007 when Facebook launched a new platform with a desire to make apps more social. During this platform expansion, Facebook users were asked to share information with specific applications.
Facebook's vision is for more apps to be social. However, in pursuing their vision, user terms and agreements were lengthy and used difficult terminology for the average user. Therefore, users agreed to terms that they didn't understand in order to be more connected online.
Years later, in 2013, a Cambridge University researcher, Alexander Kogan, created a social app that reached millions of Facebook users, giving him access to their information as well as their friends' information.
Kogan created this app to mine data from users and friends of users. Data mining is the process of sorting through large amounts of data in order to identify patterns in relationships to predict trends and behaviors. Kogan used the very nature of Facebook's platform against itself, leading to the public outlash of Facebook's lack of responsibility from the beginning.
1 year later, in 2014, Facebook found the platform to be abusive since apps were asking about data not only about the user but their friends as well. Facebook made drastic changes to their platform in order to protect user data. In 2015, Facebook discovered that Cambridge University researcher Kogan had sold his collected data with Cambridge Analytica. Facebook immediately banned Kogan's app and requested that Cambridge Analytica delete all unauthorized data.
Cambridge Analytica is a political analysis firm that builds psychological profiles of voters to help clients win elections. Their website reads, "We find your voters and move them to action. We help find and persuade voters quickly and efficiently."
Earlier this year, several news outlets, including The Guardian and The New York Times, reported that Cambridge Analytica did not delete the data. It also reported that this unauthorized data of approximately 87 million Facebook users could have been used in the recent Trump presidential election campaign.
Through this scandal, companies around the world realized that the commercial value of data can have a much bigger effect on the world when approached unethically. As a result of the public reaction to this scandal, Facebook employees now feel uncomfortable at work as well as responsible for world problems.
Hi, I'm Avery, and I'm going to discuss with you the ethical concerns Facebook is facing. Many people are wondering, did Facebook behave ethically? Lots of users experienced a breach of trust and an invasion of privacy. Facebook left user data open to vulnerability. Facebook has an unclear and sometimes hidden terms of service. Facebook receives a 30% cut of the profit made by app developers while enabling those apps to have access to data. Facebook has a lack of control over data once third-party developers obtain it, and Facebook does not perform routine audits of developers' use of data. Did Facebook know? According to former platform operations manager Sandy Parakailis, senior executives took a lax approach to data protection. Upper management offered little support for his ideas on how to more rigorously protect user data. He was also told, "Do you really want to see what you'll find?" when voicing his concern over the risk of a data breach. Why didn't Facebook make sure that Cambridge Analytica deleted the data? Facebook requested that Cambridge Analytica delete the data, and Cambridge Analytica provided certifications to prove it was deleted. But the bottom line is that Facebook's ethics are being questioned after their part in the breach. Facebook did not take every measure available to them to protect user data and make sure that their information was protected. Some changes Mark Zuckerberg has promised to make going forward. He will be completing a full audit of Cambridge Analytica to confirm that data has been deleted. Facebook will be investigating all apps that may have had access to large amounts of data before 2014. Facebook will be implementing more restrictions of developers' access to user data. Facebook users will be offered more accessible tools to enable them to see which apps they have given access to. Is micro-targeting ethical? Micro-targeting is the analyzing of data to predict the behavior, interests, and opinions held by specific groups of people. Did Cambridge Analytica behave ethically? Cambridge Analytica lied about deleting the data, used user data without permission, and there's also a possibility that they used data to manipulate and suppress voters.
Hi, I'm Steven, and I'll be discussing the business concerns of Facebook. The Friday the news of the scandal broke, it happened outside of normal trading hours, and Facebook's share price closed at approximately $185 per share. In the following days, their stock price eventually dropped as low as $148 per share. The difference in share price from high to low shows a delta of 36 per share, or a 19% loss. As a result, the company's market cap was reduced by nearly $80 billion, and Mark Zuckerberg's personal wealth was reduced by nearly $14 billion. Now, it is important to understand how this reduction in market cap will affect Facebook. Facebook reported that it had nearly $8 billion of cash and cash equivalents and a total of $48.5 billion in total assets at the end of 2017. Typically, a loss in the value of a company's stock will result in an increase in the cost of borrowing, because lenders will look at the stock's valuation when determining how much to lend and at what interest rate. Since Facebook has an abundance of cash on hand, more than likely it will not dramatically affect the company's operations. However, one area they may struggle with is that if the stock price doesn't recover, will be employee retention. Many executives' employees rely on incentive stock options for compensation. For instance, when the stock price reaches a predetermined value, they are eligible to convert their shares to cash. In the event it doesn't recover, these company executives may look to other companies for employment. If executives begin leaving Facebook, this could lead to more speculation among investors on whether or not the company is healthy. So the big question is, will the stock price recover? At this time, it's hard to determine. However, with nearly 2.2 billion active users, it seems likely that many people will continue to use their product. To know for sure what will happen to the stock price in the long term, we will have to wait for the results of their quarterly earnings report to determine how the misuse of data has affected their cash flow.
Hello, I'm Jasmine, and I'll be talking about the business communication errors. So apparently it took Zuckerberg 5 days to respond about the scandal. When he finally responded, it was a Facebook status update that all Facebook users could view. In his statement, he went over the past few years of how they created his platform and try to keep everything secure. Facebook isn't allowed to sell any type of information to third parties, but Cambridge Analytica manipulated Kogan to get that information. As of now, Cambridge Analytica and Kogan have been banned from using Facebook. To make sure all the information was deleted, they hired a forensic audit to check if they still had any data. As of Zuckerberg, he apologized and is taking care that his platform is secure for this not to happen again, because he wants to protect the community. But most users have used a hashtag delete Facebook, which until this day it keeps trending on social media. Again, Zuckerberg did not do a great job informing Facebook users about using their information. In addition to his scandal, for several years, they have been collecting calls and text history. When users agreed to their terms of importing their contacts to Messenger or other apps on Android phones, their cell phones records were imported without their knowledge. Zuckerberg was aware of Kogan and Cambridge Analytica were sharing data in 2015, but he decided to stay quiet, and a few years later, it came out to the public.
This scandal created a public uproar over ethical concerns and clarity in business. Companies like Facebook now realize their responsibility to establish clear and easy to understand agreements with both users and clients. Companies also realize their need to make strong and constant strides to protect user data. Lack of responsibility and management transparency in these areas led to declines in company value, in addition to broken trust with the public and clients.